such an asshole.
All right. We have a Clary original. I guess I'll just read through it and we'll go through it here. Howdy, Cappy. You previously helped me out with the never good enough mentality video. I want to follow up by letting you know that I'm taking your advice. I'm trying to relax and enjoy life a little bit more. I'm also taking a week off work to go do some road tripping and ATV riding the Alpine Loop in Colorado with a friend. That's good. I got to look that up. Does that include Silverton and Ouray by chance, or is that a different area? Thank you for the advice. It was really good to hear from an outside perspective. On to the main topic. Personally, I really enjoy your slap happy Cappy videos where you have fun talking about whatever you want. So how much is a Cappy original? Cappy originals are $35 a piece. That's the kind of the cheapest, unless you actually send me a very brief, short, quick request. Then it's like, I can charge less. Or if you're military, you get military discount, regardless of what military you're from, active or retired. But yeah, if I get to talk, I got an entire list of ideas that I just don't have time to get to, because a lot of times, oh, she's 300 pounds and she's a Marxist and she hates her dad. Should I marry her? I get, sometimes those questions. Every once in a while, I like to talk what I like to talk about. I don't know. So hell yeah. So he paid, and I will share an idea I've had with you, an observation, especially as it pertains to the younger generations, anyone, I guess, under 40. And it was how do I know? We're going to have to go back, but especially with the Great Resignation and the lying flat, which I'm kind of actually all for. I'm sympathetic towards it. But people are talking, inflation, how does economics work? And I'm like, really? You guys don't know why there's inflation? We just printed off a bunch of money and the rest of you ain't working. And we're not at a economic collapse, communist crisis type of thing right now, but you're starting to see what to me is some basic 101 economics. Oh, you printed off more money and people ain't working producing the stuff, and you wonder why the amount of money per stuff, known as the price, is going up. It really is a Scooby-Doo mystery. I don't know why rent is so high. You know what the solution is? We need to print off more money. But what people don't realize, what's being masked is the production side of economics. And I know this is so boring, but it's going to become so not boring when you don't have production. And so I want to talk about, everyone, what do you want to do when you grow up little? I call them Jessica and Jason Christ, because Westerners, they're going to save the world. And you're just so holy and you're amazing. That's why I put Greta Thunberg. I was thinking about putting David Hogue, but I chose a different girl instead. But yeah, this is my generation too. Pretty much anyone post-boomer was given this idea. Well, what do you want to do in life, little Jimmy? I want to, I want to do this. That's great. What can you do? You can do whatever you want. It's America. And so what's interesting is as the economy has evolved, the technology has advanced, there's been some changes where we've had this luxury to you get to do whatever you want. Really? Which you don't. A lot of you are finding that out. But it's coming to a consequence now where we have 3 full generations that have been fed that lie. So let us go back. Let's go way back. Talk about what the purpose of economics was. All right. The whole purpose of economics was to get people out of poverty. That's it. And not that long ago in human history, matter of fact, literally yesterday in the grand scheme of human history, the number one problem facing humans was hunger, starvation. We weren't able to, generate enough calories of food to eat. And you had you could even have the, forget the depression. Even the 70s, I remember having to tighten our belts a little bit. All right. So it was only recently, obesity has become a problem. So humans have 200,000, 2 million years, however you want to consider when a human was. The core economic problem facing was, where are we going to get the food? And literally yesterday, we solved that problem with agricultural and general industrial revolution technologies. I would also say free markets and capitalism, but a lot of you have sand in your hoo-has when that word is mentioned. In any case, the whole idea of economics was, okay, we make it so we get through these lower levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We get our food, clothing, and shelter taken care of, and that the tool by which we do that is technology. We're able to produce a lot of food, a lot of clothing, a lot of shelter. I remember if you skinned your knees, your parents were pissed because clothes were really expensive back in the day because it's done by hand. Now it's done by machines or child slave labor in Asia. Either way, actually, it's done by child slave labor using machines in Asia, right? But the real costs of things have come down, and we have eliminated poverty if we choose to. Now the people who are poor are the ones who make stupid decisions, namely having more kids than they can afford, and then up having more capita, and then they're poor, right? But in the grand scheme of things, we have eliminated poverty compared to, say, like the 1800s. Certainly that. Now, this has allowed us, and I would say us, anyone boomer and post, you could maybe consider the boomers, this luxury of where we're not scourging or scrounging for food. 200 years ago, 96% of the people farmed. Now, I think less than 4%. It's the opposite. Less than 4% of the people farm. And now we have all this extra free time instead of digging in the dirt with cow manure, toiling under the sun, breaking our backs. We get to do a whole host of other things, create movies, do accounting, anything with an air-conditioned office. Some people even get these jobs where they never have real jobs. Like they never get to the job part. It's just like, well, I learned English. I would hope you would. You were born in America. And I want to become a teacher who teaches English. Like literally no productive value whatsoever. Just a waste of human being right there from an economic perspective. I might have been a nice person. I don't know. Probably not, English teachers. But the whole point, I mean, even look at this ridiculousness I'm doing right now. This is ridiculous. Perhaps I'm the only one to admit it. This is not a real job. I've had real jobs. This isn't one of them. But I'm paid for this. Look how legit, look at how fast and all of our other problems are taken care of, that you actually have buffoons and morons like me on the internet that you guys tune into and you pay through super chats. That's how advanced the technology has gotten. That's how little real problems we have. And the reason I'm here and not poor is, again, it's not because we didn't have enough food or there wasn't enough technology or not enough roads or not electricity. Like literally the way you aren't poor in America right now is to not screw up. Don't have kids you can't afford. Don't commit a crime. Don't major in stupid crap. Spend less than you make. That's it. And you're not going to be poor. You may not be wealthy, but you won't be poor. And then you could do a ridiculous thing. Uber Eats. Hey, what do? I drive the food from the restaurant to the people's houses. And someone from the 1800s would say, what's a restaurant? What's a car? What's a drone? So the larger point is that technology has liberated us from the main shackles, the main economic shackles of the past, which was poverty, illness, health, cold, clothing, where you all had to do it yourself, John Wayne movie, the women are darning socks and the guys are butchering the cattle. You're all subsistence farming, essentially. To now, that's done by robots in the form of John Deere tractors and AI programming going up to the satellites and all this automation. And now we're liberated to do a lot of things. And so it's not too irrational from the perspective of people who came from before the baby boomers. Like, wow, you could do whatever you want. You could drive people in New York City. You can drive for a living. They remember the day there was no car. You could be a pilot. You can fly people. We didn't even have flight. And so especially with the Industrial Revolution, technological revolution, all these new things were possible. You start thinking about traveling, remember hover cars? Where's our hover cars? We got welfare instead. Isn't that nice? We got master's degrees. Anyway, so when you say, well, what do I want to do? Well, you could do anything. We don't have to farm anymore. We don't have to build dams. We don't have like really we can kind of do whatever we want. And so what economics should have been, what should have happened is we say, all right, for all of our basic food, clothing, and shelter needs, even our luxury needs, that's kind of all automated. It's kind of all taken care of. And now we have the free time to do what? And that is the question, to do what? What do you do with the free time? Now, if you get old enough and after you're a kid, I want to ride Disneyland. I want to ride a horse, all that other stuff. Well, okay, you get a little bit older, riding the horse, it's not all that exciting. Well, what would you want to do? Well, the logical thing would be to spend time with your family. You have kids, you get married, you have a spouse, spend time with your loved ones, have friends, fraternal orders, but you would spend time with other human beings, you have fun. But the main thing would have been family. I'm going to go find a hot wife. I'm going to have sex a lot of time. With technology, it allows the sex without the children to occur. We'd have the kids that we wanted, and it would be kind of the George Jetson thing where the quote was, man, these 3-hour work weeks are killing me. But we would have the technology, and I'd argue we do, like to just get by on food, clothing, and shelter. If you got my book, Poor Rich's Retirement, this is like 5, 6, 7 years ago. You could a single person could get by on 17 grand if they wanted to. Again, they wouldn't be living in luxury. That's more like maybe 25, 27 grand now with all that Trump and Biden and Obama inflation. Who just pay off more money? What's sad is the economists that are saying that, the ones with the doctorates, the smart ones. Anyway, so you would have all this extra free time to go and pursue other people, fun, freedom, leisure. Now there would be the human mind is crazy and amazing. We invent things like the internet and computer and video games. So all that labor that would have gone into shoveling poo as a farmer, now some people, the Elon Musk would come up with all the things that are beyond your basic food, clothing, and shelter. So that consumes some resources and materials, but everything has a limit. Everything has a shelf life of novelty. And Emily, I was thinking like freedom and family, freedom to do what? Have the freedom to spend time raising my kids. Now, all the shiny trinkets and doodads that everyone goes into debt. Oh, I have to have the granite countertops. Let's remove that. That's why everyone still has to work. But when it came time to, well, what do you want to do for a living? We've been given this lie, half lie, half truth, that, well, you could do whatever you want. It's America. And since everything kind of was taken care of, like you're not really starving, you're not really cold, you're not really hot, you got air conditioning, it's kind of all taken care of. Like, well, yeah, well, what do we want to do? And when given the choice, instead of doing something such, but like, well, I want to be like George Jetson doing whatever he did at Cogswell Cogs or Spacely Sprockets. Which one did he work for? I forget the one he was working for. Work his 3 hours and then go spend time with the family. What we did is we said, well, what do I want to do? And it was nothing practical. All the world's problems more or less were solved, all the real ones. And now we start coming up with smaller and smaller problems on what we want to do with life. And whereas I thought people say, well, I just want to stay at home and have kids, have the family. Turns out that's not the case. That's not the case. When you give people the option, especially younger people, what they want to do, they want to save the world. They want to stop hunger. Hunger stopped, at least in the Western world. We're going to fight racism, which is fine. You shouldn't fight against it. We're going to close the gap. All these problems, all these social problems, they're like, is that really what you want to do? Is that what you're going to, we're going to stop global warming. And what you start to realize is like when given the choice, because you have a choice. Well, we could work a sensible job and we could have like an economy if you remove all the luxury and the crap we don't need. We could have had an economy where you're working 4 hours a day. It's enough to raise a family if you don't need all the things and the trinkets. Or I'm going to go and fix the world you realize it isn't really about the noble intention of whatever the noble cause is. Yes, it is noble to eliminate the wage gap. It's noble to end racism. It's noble to end childhood hunger. It's noble to make sure the environment is good and clean. But as always, I said, question, do you really care about black people? Do you really care about women? Do you really care about gun violence? Or are you just lazy and don't want to work a real job? Or even more so, it's not heroic enough. It's not sexy enough. And what you're finding is that instead of telling young people today, hey, you should become an accountant, you should become a doctor, or I would argue you don't need that much money. There's nothing wrong with becoming a doctor or an accountant. Why don't you just become a good worker and then at first and foremost put your family first, whether you have one or not? That should come first. No, 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 man. And you could see it with the choice of degrees. It's all about the ego. I'm going to help the children. I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to save the world. I'm going to save the planet. I'm going to save lives. I'm going to make a difference. And not for 1 second should you believe what those words mean, because all it is when you translate it, I am not only lazy, but I'm an egomaniac. And instead of doing something beneath me, like, I don't know, plumbing or electrical work or accounting, becoming a doctor or a surgeon, I, at the very old and wise age of 17, have decided I know better than the world and I'm going to make a difference. You have to think about the arrogance and hubris and the ego that it takes and just the evil. Like, look at any, we could go with Thunberg, but take any one of these social justice warrior types that came out of high school. I always like referring to Jessica Assef. Now, she's not as popular as David Hogue or Greta Thunberg. But way back in the day, this woman's in her 30s now. It's a great case study. She is now, today, the cannabis feminist. Last I checked, she may be on to the next thing. But way back in the day, I did a video series. You want to go back to the archives, of a thing called Crusaderism. This predates the term social justice warrior, but it was the same thing. And what she wanted back then, she was in high school, and she led a campaign, a charge to get chemicals out of makeup. I think she was 16 or 17 at the time. And she sat, this is when Governor Schwarzenegger was in California. And she sat in the halls of California. I have a question. Yes, you, sir, in the back. The handsome, dapper Gen X looking fellow with that touch of gray. Yes, you, sir. What the hell does a 16-year-old brat from Marin County or Marlin County or whatever, where the rich assholes over in California are from, that group of assholes, not all of them, they're all assholes. What the hell does this kid know anything about anything and has the right or the authority or the wisdom to say things should be done differently? And you could see that in every high school student who's college bound, nearly everyone. Their teachers and their parents and the media have told them, you're all going to change lives. And curiously enough, they choose noble crusades that just aren't feasible. Sorry. Let me pull out the dick of reality, swing it like a lasso, hit you upside the head with it. The dick of reality is that none of these problems are solvable. For example, they're all with the underlying commonality of equal outcomes is what it is. You could change the flavor and the variety. Women, race, sexual preference, and all that. And the complaint is that it is discrimination and that the outcomes are due to the discrimination. And we need to have equal outcomes. And the problem with that, that'd be nice. It'd be really nice if everybody worked hard and we all were very successful, but not one. No two people are the exact same. One person works less, the other one works more. One person might choose different things, like, I just want to fish and have a small family, like the George Jetson, 3 hours of work a day or a week or whatever it is. I don't need the fancy car. Some people don't want to go to college and waste even more time in school. Some people don't want to have the corporate again. Some people do. But And so naturally, as a consequence of having two different people, doesn't matter who or what or where they are, is two different people are going to have two different outcomes, largely, largely because of the choices they make, not because of traits they were born with. There's another, hang on. Wha-pow! There it is, the dick of reality. You have been blessed, pow, by the dick of reality. But see, in the fact, one, they don't correctly diagnose the problem to make actual genuine progress. That's been my complaint in the Black Man's Guide Out of Poverty, is to actually help close the wage gap, health gap, a life expectancy gap between not only, well, to any two groups of people. We have to critically assess and figure out why that exists. It can't just be, the Republicans in the Senate, the white man. It doesn't work. Women, it's the same thing. The reason you want to close the wage gap, stop majoring in dumb stuff. That's it. There you go. You know, where was I going with that? Oh, if you wanted to improve outcomes, you would empirically look at things because you actually care about those people. You want to provide constructive criticism to actually close that. But that they don't want that. And then also, again, remove all the traits that they use to they all analysis is through the lens of traits currently in politics right now, which is wrong. Should be choice, because people control the choices. They don't control, who they are born as. But people are different and they're going to have different outcomes. And unless you make it communism, which is what they want ultimately, which means we're going to be all equally poor, all right, you are not able to solve this. Also, it's humanity. Like, look, some people are just going to be dicks. Some people are just going to be actual misandrous or both. Some people are going to be genuine racists. Some people are going to be bigoted or discriminatory, and on whatever trait it might be. And instead of focusing on yourself and kind of taking care of yourself and getting things squirreled away in your own world, you're going to go off on these crusades that are not solvable. Now, they should not be not admonished. It's not to say you shouldn't bring shame. We shouldn't as a community, but they're making their career choices off of this. And while technology has freed us from the toils of the farm, essentially, and the toils of the factory, even, where now we can, you really think about, we got it easy compared to your grandparents worked in factories. They worked in mines with less technology and hand tools. Now you're moving a mouse and dealing with spreadsheets. I'm not fulfilled. Shut up. Shut up. Anyway, we're so liberated from that toil that we thought, like, oh, well, we could do this forever. And I don't know what the robots are, but what we forgot is that, okay, nowhere near the amount of people have to go and be farmers now. Nowhere near the amount of people have to go and be miners, or the people who build things, or the people who put in the roads and run the electrical lights. But there still needs to be some. And we still need people to get the garbage, and we still need people to pull teeth, and we still need people to do the hard work and learn how to become a heart surgeon. We still need some of these people. But there has been such a huge movement and exodus of people from real jobs, things that actually produce something of value and things we need, to chasing these poppycock, idealistic, gonna save the world, Jessica and Jesus Christ, Captain Planet type of BS, ranging from everything from social workers to teachers to activists to whatever, grant writers, that we have now nowhere near the amount of people we need to produce the stuff to support us that we were previously liberated from. And I've talked about this before. Beforehand, there were enough mechanics to go around. You could get an oil change or your car fixed relatively soon. There's not now. Now you got to wait a month or two. There were enough people around, reasonably so, to, I'm trying to figure out, to build roads. Now they even talk about here in South Dakota, we can't find enough people. And it's not even things that are necessarily critical, but what? Perkins ain't open 24/7 anymore, right? There's a little hint. All these other, they can't find workers. Hell, if you aren't even working. Everything's stupid. It's either I'm going to save the planet and become a senator when I'm 32 years old, or I'm just going to collect a government check and then bitch about it, how the world is so unfair on the internet. And what we realize, what we've done, is so many people have gone to save the planet. There's not enough people to keep the lights on, let alone feed it. And that's my question. See, because I don't know if you've noticed, there's the occasional shortages. Yeah. There was the disease and there was supply chain issues and all that. But here's another question I got. Supply chain issues from where? What do you mean from where? Where does the stuff come from? Where do we get our stuff? Oh, China? Yeah. You mean we don't produce it here? No. What if China decides they don't want to do it? Or, like it's looking right now, they have a huge real estate problem, huge financial crisis. What if they don't work? What if they decide they're not going to go to the factories? Who's going to produce the stuff? And this is why. Yes, there were supply chain issues. Yes, there were kinks in the supply chain. We don't produce our own stuff. Not even right now, because we import so much, we have other people produce our stuff for us. And I just have a question. Like, if something happens on the international trade world, like say, I don't know, a war with Russia. I don't know if that have an effect on energy prices. Do we have enough people in this country to feed ourselves, to produce the food? Do we have enough tradesmen? Oh, that was another one. You're all complaining about housing. Oh, there's not enough housing. Housing's so expensive. Well, did you major in the liberal arts? Oh, are you a 37-year-old millennial who majored in early childhood education and you're bitching about rent? Oh, so you weren't a plumber or a roofer or a tradesman, huh? Oh, I guess that's just for Mexicans to do, right? That's beneath you, right? Yeah, you're going to go say, you're going to help the children's because roofing, that's just, ew. And you girls would never date a roofer, would you? You'd never date a plumber or electrician, but because you're better than that, you're a social worker. you're helping the poor. Oh, great job, by the way. That's great. All those tent cities. And it's too late now because the percentage of you who have gone and made your choices and gone off to college, you've gone down that road. And I don't think you have the energy or the youth anymore in you to go back to school yet again for something that makes sense, like being a farmer or a tradesman or an accountant or whatever else have you. All right. But it's not only the fact that it's too late for some of the, let's say, 25 and older, right? You also just simply don't have the mental operating system to accept that reality, make choices, admit you were lied to. Okay, I admit you were lied to. You made the choices everyone was telling you to make, but you don't have the work ethic, the philosophical work ethic, or the philosophy of work to say, oh God, I got to produce something of value. Because your entire value system is tied up in the lie that you are going to make the day, be the change, make a difference, help the children, save the world. It's even so far up corporate America's ass that instead of like, hey, can you just make a good widget at a fair price or a higher quality widget at the same price or more widgets at the same price? Can you just do that to help people's standards of living? No, I have a buddy, I can't say who, but this individual has to go. They work in a manufacturing field. The seminar they had to go to was about microaggressions and diversity and oppression. It's like, in this industry, we don't have time for that. But that is so core to your existence and being and ultimately value in life that if you got rid of it, said, well, one, it's ultimately not practical or feasible. You're not going to save the world. Greta Thunberg is not going to stop global warming. All right. So one, it's a failure in that regard. You've wasted all your time. Two, everything you place value, how you derived your value, how you feel good about yourself, that's also a lie and not feasible. I'm not saying you should be for bad things to the environment, but if your career was, I always give the example, you majored in African American studies. Do you like being poor? Do you like validating the stereotype? Why didn't you go and become an accountant or an engineer as a black person? Make good money, and then in your free time, volunteer for whether it's BLM or I don't know, historically black colleges, whatever, many charities, nonprofits to help out the black community. Why did you major in activism, essentially? And one where someone's going to look at that resume and say, we're not hiring a lawsuit risk. Oh, the position's been filled. And then in a tragic, ironic sense, you then ended up the self-fulfilling prophecy of actual bigotry and discrimination. Instead of like, hey, why don't you become a good accountant? And then in your free time, you go out, help out the black community. But if your entire value is tied up, sadly, and here's where it really boils down to, it used to be the cause. I'm against war. This was back in my day when we were in high schools. There was always the idiot pacifist. I'm against war. Well, good for you. Point one person who's for it. I'm for the children. Good, because of all those nonprofits that are against children or the poor or the elderly. Right? That's how they got their value. Now, more modernly, it's not even necessarily the cause. It's traits you were born with. You're oppressed by that other group of people or for these reasons. And the whole value you have is tied up in the way you were born. Not what you did, not what you thought, not what you accomplished, not you, not this thing up here, not your ideas, or hey, I got this crazy, I'm an entrepreneur, or or something as simple as I'm a good mother, I'm a good father, I'm a good mechanic, I'm a good dentist. Nope, it's those my color of skin. That's my plum, and I have value because of that. I don't know why everyone sounds like a southern yokel. But you're morons. Let me get this right. Everyone get down. Sit down. Get your sitting down chairs. Beauregard, give me my fainting couch. You're telling me you're alive. You get sentience in this universe. You get to be alive. And you got to sit there and stare at yourself in the mirror like a women's studies major and derive your entire value as a narcissist. Oh my God. Well, what the meaning of vagina? Are you joking? Do you want to go live life a little bit? And as I said before, you were lied to. You've been conditioned that way. That's your programming. That's your operating system. And you ain't bucking it. Because the amount of effort and work you'd have to put into redeveloping a whole new system of value, which means laboring and producing things that other people want, which is nowhere near as, look, David Hogg gets to play Mr. Popular guy. I'm going to save the children from the guns. All right. To basically say, why don't you just go be a good dentist? But the sad thing is, the dentist actually produces something of value. And it's easier to find an employment. If you have rich parents like David Hogg and connections, fine. Then you get lucky. But for every one of him, there's at least 10,000 failed SJWs who don't make a living off of it. Oh, they promote the ones that succeed. So hopefully you join the cause. But more important than your individual self-value crisis, where you're starting to find out all these crusades, you could save the world. And no, you ain't. You're going to waste your life and you have no value. And the sad truth is, if you want to value, you have to do something boring, like just be a good bartender or a preacher or something. I don't know, something good, some of production, some of value. The worst thing than that is if a lot of you don't in the future, we're going to be forced to go back to where's the food? We can't have a bunch of goody two-shoe teacher pet leftist morons all saving the world and fighting for justice. We got to build roads. For any other reason, the rioters keep destroying them and burning down buildings. We need housing. We need contractors. We need builders and sheetrockers and carpenters. We need dentists. We need factory workers. We need truck drivers. And that's the sad fact about economics. It's pretty freaking boring. Because without those things, you don't have the luxury of even saying, well, I'm going to help out and save the children. How about, lady, instead of you majoring in early childhood education, how about you do this? How about you go and become an accountant instead? And then in your free time, help out with the children. That way, we can, God, there's a shortage of accountants. IRS can't even hire. They say they want to hire 87,000. There's not enough accountants to go around because you all majored in sociology or journalism, not accounting. And the day is going to come, especially if China goes offline or they just don't produce anymore. And then if enough farmers die off, which is going to happen, a lot of these trades, and it's not sexy. I know food isn't sexy. But while you're all going to fight for justice in whatever capacity or resolve, you're going to probably be a little bit more concerned that your government check, your welfare check for $10,000. Oh, that's great. $10,000. Oh, wow, that's a lot of money. I can't wait to go buy some food at the grocery store. Oh, but inflation's eating away the price of food. And you get to the grocery store, there ain't no food. Oh, I got $10,000. Oh, I got a stimmy check. How much is rent? There's a wait. Oh, I got this check. I got this government check. Oh, Biden bailed me out. I'm such a smart college educated person. He gave me $20,000 because I'm so smart. I can't take the wait to take this 20. Wait, a car's $50,000? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because human nature is to be vile, evil, and lazy. And I'm not trying to save anyone who's like, I'd even say Zoomer or older. Generation Alpha, if you're listening. The only way you're going to actually save the world is if you get to work real jobs, knock it off with all this political BS, realize the true value of a human being yourself is not traits you were born with because you didn't earn them, but actually what you do for society, of which you are compensated for. Okay. That's why surgeons are more valuable than teachers. Teachers don't do anything. There's thousands, millions of them. Flooded the market. A surgeon actually saves lives. Teachers change lives for the worse, telling you all to follow your heart and money will follow. Am I right? Am I right, millennials? Huh? Is that what your teachers told you? Who'd you listen to? That's right, your teachers. Oh, they're such smart people. If you actually want to save the world, you better make sure you feed it. The electricity is on. Oh, Las Vegas, all of the Southwest? Huh. Are they building enough desalination plants to make sure y'all got enough water? They're not, but you know what? They did protest and shut one down in California. At least the environmentalists shut it down. They saved some plankton. Here's a perfect example of the two worlds. It's not going to be sexy. Economics never was sexy, but it's going to be really freaking important when there ain't no water, there ain't no food, and there ain't no electricity. Then, and you're going to see the reality. All of a sudden, we got a gun control, global warming, the children, the minority, whatever it is, the moose, the plankton, literally the plankton. That's why Vegas and all you people in California aren't getting water, because there's a middle-aged Karen who complained that the plankton would die, and that board voted all against the desalination plan. Look it up. Soon when the water runs out and when the food runs out, economics won't be sexy, but it'll be very important. And if you want to be on the winning side of that trend, what you need to do is not do what the previous 3 generations of Americans did before you, where they go and majored in jerk-off studies and self-important studies. We're going to save unsolvable problems. But instead, you were the plumber, the electrician, the chemical engineer, the accountant, the garbage man, the copper wire maker, the seamstress. There's only one left in Rapid City. We don't have a watch fixer. There's no one who fixes watches. You just get a new one now. That's how to be on the winning side, and actually how to save the planet, save the world, save the economy, save society, whatever else. That is how you do it. Because here's the thing, unless you're really lucky and you get internet famous or your parents are connected, no one's going to remember you. No matter, oh, really? Oh, you're another tatted up, purple haired feminist cheering for equality. You're fighting the patriarchy. I can't pick you out between the literally tens of millions of other people that look just like you and say the exact same thing. But I don't know. You could be a loving mother. You have kids that love you. You could have a husband. Then you could work hard and become something instead of like the dude bro trying to make the mortgage payment. Or you could actually just, I don't know, be a dentist, have good finances, support your family, spend time with each other, work the 5 hours and actually go and live life, spend time with other people. Or you guys can go and take your shot at fame along with literally billions of other people, which means you're common, which means you don't stand out, which and ultimately you will fail. You will not stop the global warming. You won't save the whales. You're not gonna stop plagues that have been with the human psyche since the beginning of time, bigotry and whichever variant or trait you'd like to split. People are going to be bigoted and stupid no matter what. And then there was a gal, there was a eulogy about her. I even wrote about it on my blog. This is quite some time ago. And her eulogy was all about how she was an activist. I think she was in the LGBTQ community. And she fought and this and that and did the thing, And I'm like, you're looking at all the pictures, she's miserable. Like, well, when you want to done, I don't know, go on some roller coaster rides. Everything was about the cause, and none of it was happening. And I would argue there's been a lot of progress. Like, I remember the day it was like, whoa, you could make fun of not straight people all the time. Some people get beat up and killed, if you recall, not too long ago. And now everyone's like, yeah, welcome, sure. Are you happy? No, you don't shut up about it. Oh, the oppression's the sad. Are you ever going to be happy? Are you ever? You're not? Okay, we're done. Done here. See you, bye. I thought the equal laws and treatments would be nice. I thought that would be kind of, nope. Oh, you'd never be happy. All right. Because it wasn't an objective goal to get equal rights. It was because you just want to be a victim, and that's how you derived your value. Oh, a wonderful life you're going to lead. I'm going to go fishing with my gay friend, by the way, who's not obsessed about it. He just, I like dick. He also likes to go fishing. And no, it's not a sexual reference. So there you guys go. You can either not save the world or you could feed it. And it's going to become pretty important. It's closer than you think. Oh, gas prices nice and high. Oh, all those old people, farmers you make fun of, they're going to die. You're like, how do I run this tractor? I don't know. I get food from the store. Don't worry, I'm sure all you people got bailed out for your master's degree by Joey Biden. I'm sure you college-educated people are really smart. You can't handle your own finances, but you'll be able to figure out the world. Holy cow, 400 people tuning in. 436 comments. If you guys kindly would... Oh, before I get too far, link below are 3 books that are germane to the topic we've talked about. The first one is How Not to Become a Millennial. Again, this video, you guys are... Most of you 25 and older, you're too far gone. Your value system is cemented in. You're going to derive for the rest of your life value. Your value system are the traits you were born with. There's no other way I can undo that. So you're gone and you're not salvageable or savable. It's not my job to save you. So enjoy worshiping yourself and tell me how happy that makes you. For the younger generation, if you don't want to end up like the millennials, which the Zoomers are exactly right on their way to do, if you don't want to be a 40-year-old living at home with mom and dad, excited that the president gave you a $50,000 bailout. I don't know, if you like to have sex with good-looking people too, get the book How Not to Become a Millennial. It is not a slanderous book on the millennials. It is actually kind of a eulogy, a mourning of the destruction of a generation. And if the millennials wanted to listen to it, they could salvage the last half of their life. But I know you know better because you have a master's degree while you got bailed out. If you are a younger person and you don't want to be miserable like pretty much everyone older than you, please get that book on Not to Become a Millennial. There's also Enjoy the Decline, because no one is going to actually do anything to fix the economy, get our finances straight, bring some kind of meritocracy or sanity back. We're all going to be worshiping traits we were born with or claim we have. That's what's really popular. I hope everyone gets the reassignment surgery. Please do. Go and do it. It'll make you'll be a man, dye your hair and get tattoos. That will make you so different than everybody. You'll be brave and amazing. So for the rest of us who still have our brains about us, you gotta learn how to enjoy this insanity. And then also, sanity is the future of wealth. That is a third. That's a short one. That as technology advances and kind of like, I don't think we're gonna have like a huge Roman Empire collapse. The technology is still gonna be there. But those of you who are going to be truly wealthy in the future, it's going to be whether you're sane or not. I mean, look at Hillary Clinton. That woman is miserable. Her entire life has been miserable, but it has also been opulently wealthy. She came from a rich dad, sucked a rich guy's dick. His dick also got sucked by a different woman in the Oval Office. She became a senator, run for president, all that. That's one of the most miserable people who wasted her life I've ever seen. So, I don't know, you could become that, or you could just be sane. And trust you me, sanity is going to be coming at a premium. If you're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm straight. I don't need a teacher to tell me otherwise. No, I'm pretty sure I don't want to major in philosophy. I'm pretty sure I want to go to trade school and not go 4 years into debt. So there you go. All right, let's go to the super chats. Let's go to the super chats, the super chats, the super chats. Let's go to the super chats and have ourselves a treat. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. Wow, a lot of comments. Gotta keep on scrolling. Doc is in the house. Dr. David Perotti. You can check him at Safety Doc on YouTube. SafetyPhD.com. Holy comments. Why can't YouTube just do the thing I wanted to do? All right. Scrolling down, scrolling. It's actually amazing how many more comments and participation we get in the afternoon. I know you guys are all like in the morning. I too had a real job at one time. Boy, we got a lively chat going on here. How dare you? Think about it. Hang on. That poor girl started at 16. How sad do you think her life is? Like, her parents just groomed her. Her parents don't love her. Her parents want her to be a leftist. Her parents love the politics more. That poor girl. I mean, wow. Okay, you're gonna save the planet, huh, lady? All right, have fun, sweetheart. Have fun. Ask Bucket 62, $2. If I save the world, why I get the girl son? No, but they will let you take them out for dinner, and maybe they'll go to, but you can be good friends with them. Look, you guys should know this by now. Agreeing politically and going to rallies that doesn't help get the girls. Cybit White, is that 15 Israeli shekels? Is that correct? Is that the image? He just has 15 Israeli shekels. Thank you very much. Thank you. Scrolling more. Oh, geez. Thanks, Paul. The Come On Man podcast, which you guys should all be subscribing to for $20 generous. I'm going to write this off as not a friend, Aaron. So Paul came to visit, and we were actually just talking shop the entire time. But since he's a fellow podcaster and we were talking shop, I always made the joke, well, you're not a friend. He's like, well, why not? I say, because you're a tax deduction. You're a business acquaintance. So I would always say, yeah, I'd introduce, this is my girlfriend, and this is my not a friend, Paul. We'd be at the say, yeah, I need a receipt because he is not a friend. I have a lot of people who aren't friends. Known them for years. This is my not a friend. Scrolling. Wiz Division Productions, $5. We did it, Patrick. We saved the city. Meanwhile, Seattle, Bikini Bottom burns in the background. Yeah. I mean, seriously, there's another one. Think of the city of Seattle or Portland or San Francisco, like all the leftists there. How can you possibly be happy literally living in filth, living in human feces. How can you be happy? And this reinforces my original point, how they are so, it's cemented. Their operating system, their work ethic, their value structure, it's all cemented. You go talk to some San Francisco person. I saw this, a friend of mine, I won't mention who, but he's in a fancy apartment building in downtown San Francisco, and it's $4,500 a month. And then some bum decided to start sleeping in front of their atrium, and people were complaining. But then the other people were like, "You should just be thankful you have housing." I don't know what it's like to hate myself that much. I have no idea what it's like to lie that you gotta step over a bum who could possibly stab you or knife you, and their feces are all over. Like, what's that like? What's that like? I mean, you might as well rationalize your wife cheating on you, like, "Well, okay, I'll raise the other guy's kid." All right. I don't know. If you hate yourself that much, you don't have to continue. I mean, why is it you don't wanna be wrong? Is it you don't wanna admit that you were wrong this entire time? Is it pride? I don't think it's even, I think it's you got a bunch of worthless people whose entire value is, "I'm a leftist and I care." I could see social scientists, people in the industry, where if communism yet fails once again, or, liberal Democrat policies result in people crapping in the streets in a failed microeconomy or a municipal economy, I could see as a source of pride of the social scientists having to admit they're wrong about everything, literally, where they double down and, "Oh no, it's the white Republican males in the Senate. That's why this guy's pooping in the streets of San Francisco." I could see it in that sense, but you're insane. Everybody else know, like, looking at it like, "Okay, we just need more government money, huh? The 50 trillion over the 6 decades wasn't enough, huh? We just need 100 trillion in another 6 decades. How many generations of black people we're going to keep poor?" That's what I'd like to know. How many more decades, how many more generations of black families are we going to treat as guinea pigs so liberal white women in the social sciences and the liberal arts can feel good about themselves? That's really what it is. In case the black community was wondering, you're the guinea pigs of, well, I mean, not strictly liberal white women, but liberal people in general, disproportionately women in the social side. They're here to, don't it make you smile when the liberal white woman from the suburbs comes in? She's like, "I'm going to help." Really? You ever work a job? "No, I've been in school since I was 5, but I have a master's degree in racial studies. I'm going to help." I still like uh, Team America World Police. That's all right. It's okay. Everything's all right now. The terrorists have been defeated and Paris is all destroyed. We have defeated the terrorists. Flyover Rob, $5, but Cappy, working hard at a trade doesn't give me status. Right. Men got a problem with this. Being lazy and saving the world will give me the girls up. That's the men have a slightly different dynamic. They're lazy in their own way, but men will try to be ballers. They'll borrow money, they'll lose it, they'll borrow more, lose it, borrow more, and they'll claim they're a stock trader or options trader, or they're a baller bro. But then there are your weak men who try to just agree and be like allies and all that. Uh, SFG, sneaky effort game, as Rolo calls it. Has that worked for any of you guys? For you guys agreeing all the time with the politics? Has that worked for a single one of you yet? Let me know if it does. That should be front page news if it does. That would make a good Babylon Bee headline. Wiz Division Productions for another $5. Who do you think you are, telling me to get a job and be accountable for my own life? How dare you? You stole my socialist dreams in childhood. It's great. There's nothing more poetically justice or comeuppance than watching someone live a life of a leftist, where all they had to do was get off their ass and go live life and go do something. And all they wanted to do was just sit there and be taken care of, playing their video games, getting bailed off for the joke of a degree. perpetually panhandling, whether it's literally on a street or begging for government handouts or government grants or government jobs. Like, I don't know what that's like, where your and your entire value is tied up in that warped value system or valueless system. I got things to do. I want to spend my time working. I'm gonna go play video games after this. That's only because I went on a bunch of hikes and did a bunch of things earlier in the week. Want a poker game? Mm-hmm. Oh, big money. $20. Mm-hmm. Cappy can retire now. All right. Shaft driven metal. Oh, there it is. Let me make sure I got it. There we go. Yep. Shaft driven metal for $5. Cappy, people don't want hard jobs. They want the income of STEM or tradesmen without the work. Right. Those are called bankers. Those are called politicians. Those are called internet influencers. The problem is only 1 in 10,000 of those are athletes. Although athletes work their ass off. I'll tell admittedly on that. And look, who wants a hard job? Very few people do. But the smart people realize that if you work the hard job, you're going to work less. There'll be less calories of energy spent just doing the hard stuff up front and early than being the perpetual panhandler. I'm pointing this out, like there's my Vietnamese buddy, and then there's my not Vietnamese buddy. My Vietnamese buddy majored in electrical engineering. He never waited for a bus. He never had to hike to a bus. Why? Because he did the hard work up front. Now he's not super wealthy, but he's wealthier than me, obviously, upper middle income. And then there's not my not Vietnamese friend, who is a spinster Gen Xer, and everything is men's fault. She's poor, and she majored, I think it was early childhood education, and her house got repossessed, and she has to go to and walk to the bus. Who do you think spends more calories of energy over the course of their life? My Vietnamese buddy or my not Vietnamese buddy? My not Vietnamese buddy, obviously. That poor gal, literally poor, has to go to the bus, has to wait for the bus, has to walk all the other places around. I'm sure there's other things, has to constantly look for housing, the stress that comes from not having enough money because you pissed it away, had more kids than you could afford. And who has the harder life? This is where we could learn. You want to talk about diversity? You want to talk about, hey, we bring stuff to the community of the United States way. We really should look at what Asian culture or communities do, where it's like, hey, you're going to major in this. You're going to do well in school. You're going to work hard. And that's hard work up front. But they're the ones, the group that has the least amount of financial security problem. Man, you guys live forever too. Holy cow. Though I think that's more biological than sociological. But, they do the hard work and they have better lives. Which do they work harder than? Then compare it to a poor black kid who was born into the ghetto, single mom, lies to him, uses his credit card to open up a Social Security and open up a credit card account. He comes out of the gate completely disadvantaged. Everyone lies to him and says, oh, it's hopeless because of white man. How long is that one going to last? The guy loses any desire of hope, and it doesn't. And if you lose any desire and any hope, then you're not going to work. Now it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're going to deal drugs. Okay, well, that doesn't. Okay, now just get in there like, hey, how about this? Your mom was a whore, and she made a mistake and had you, and she shouldn't have had you. But you're here now. Now, do you want to repeat what's happened the past 5-6 generations? Or do you want to join the military, get the GI Bill, go become an accountant or a tradesman, stick in the reserves, get yourself free health care, free education, get yourself a vasectomy right off the bat so you don't get yourself a baby mama, and now you're making $120,000 before you're 40. Tell me which one works better and who cares more. And tell me who's going to work less, who's going to have the easier life. It'll be the person who puts the hard work in first. And then let's say this guy had a brother who didn't go that path and went down the standard path, government housing, got in trouble with the law, boobity-blah, 3 baby mamas. Who's got the easier life? It's the person who works hard. There is no easy way. There is the hard way, which is doing your hard work up front. And then there's the really hard way, which is thinking there's an easy way and always being lazy. And that costs you your life. That costs you your life. Man, we got a lot of comments. Wiz Division Productions again, $5. I now identify as a redhead with Huge Bazongas. Don't think I'm gonna fall for it. I don't. Wizda, I don't think you're gonna be convincing enough. Don't think so. How imagine that you're a redhead and like you get your hair long and you're not one of the ugly redheads, you're a good looking redhead, or female, I mean. All you have to do is get the fake ones if you're not blessed with natural ones. You're set. You're set. I should become a managing agent for redheads with tiggle bitties. Kind of like, look, you're gonna piss away your money. All right. We're gonna create a 401 IRA account. You go do your seeking arrangement or your OnlyFans or whatever. We're gonna set up an LLC. So you save these little white paper thingies. These are called receipts. You save those, give them to me, and for 60%, I'll manage all this for you. Grandpa Simpson yells at clouds. Cheers, Cappy. Thank you, Did You Know, man? I think I uploaded a video picking on Troy Francis. I don't know where Troy is. Usually I hear back from him. I hope I didn't offend him. Did I get everything? Did I get everything? Alan Beeblebox, $10. Here's an advance on your next children's book. Socialist money printer goes burr. Euro environmentalists go burr in winter. I made a pretty good meme of this family sitting around the fire. You know, they got sweaters on and hot chocolate and they're smiling. And then Jack Nicholson in The Shining where he's dead out in the said, winter 2023, it was Russia in Europe. Oh, it's great. I'm Europe. I'm gonna love that. Not obviously my team in Europe, but I'm gonna love to see. Oh, is it gonna be cold? Is it gonna be cold where the Down syndrome child lives? The Swedish Down syndrome. Will it be cold there? I wonder if it'll be cold. That's what I'm talking about. Like here in the United States, we're kind of okay, but in Europe, they're gonna run out of gas and oil. Oh, we can't have you're not going to have heat in winter. Is that enough for you to say who will feed us, who will heat our homes versus who's going to save the world? Thank God all you boomer European parents sent your kids off to social justice studies and not a single one of them knows how to install a wood-burning stove. Thank God you did that. Do you remember when Europe was all sanctimonious? Like, we're Europe. We're just so much more educated and intellectual. Do we have to save you a fourth time now from a dictator? Public news is $2. Thinking about getting my ears pierced. Bad idea. I mean, are you a girl? Fine, get your ears pierced. Are you a guy? Don't do that. You're doing it because you have no value. Are you gonna be edgy? You gotta be cool. Yeah, go get your ears pierced, dude. Whatever. I don't know. I'd go find something to do that gives me value. So at the end of the day, I say, hey, I look, let me give you something. Let me give you an example. All right. So I got patio furniture, right? Just this cheap crap I bought on the internet. Now people can sit if I ever get some visitors. We have enough people to sit outside. Well, the problem is there's wind, and this is that light plasticky stuff. So it wasn't anything exciting. It wasn't glorious, but it was a victory for the day. I got some washers and some screws, and I tacked them into the patio. So now the wind doesn't blow them away. And now I don't have to like haul them out, haul them back in, haul them out, haul them back in. They're out there. They're not blowing anywhere. Now, that's not glorious. No. I didn't save the children's. I didn't help out on minorities. And I didn't become an ally of a woman. But I did improve a little thing in my life that made my life easier. Now, if you do that every day, a small victory every day, you're going to have a way better and more rewarding, fulfilling life. And I would say even financially wealthy life, because now, like, let's say the furniture blew away and hit a tree, and I got to get new furniture or waste my time doing that. Now I got the furniture. I don't have to do anything again. I saved I don't have to buy any more money. You save money in this way. If you just manage your life right, put in your retaining wall, do the floors, install new windows, change the oil. You're not saving the world, but you are making your life really good. And you got something to point to. What is has Greta Thunberg ever changed oil? You think that woman's ever done anything with her hands? Even the other way too, if you know what I'm saying. I WizDivision Productions, $10. My new favorite Enjoy the Decline activity is watching Caleb Hammer's channel to see just how much people financially wreck themselves. I'm in far better shape just by not being a debt slave. Caleb, who's that? Caleb Hammer. You know what? I'll pull up my to-do list. Yes, I have a to-do list. And you guys should also get to-do lists as well. That gives you something to do. And then at the end of it, you're like, oh, I did things. Caleb Hammer. I will check that dude out. All right, we caught. Oh my God! Well, ladies and gentlemen, celebrity guest appearance by none other than the T-Rash. He's. Are you doing your? How many women have you impregnated today, T? What are you up to? Have you thought about writing a book? I'll gladly promote it, man. Doesn't have to be true. Just has to be T-Rashy. Aubrey, see, Aubrey's already wet. Oh my God, T-Rash. I mean, see, just the man is a natural. Oh, WizDivision Productions, $2. Fine. I identify as T-Rash. Checkmate, sir. Oh, T-Rash. My God. The one and only in our chat room, no less, ladies and gentlemen. Scrolling. Hey, Black Bill, what's up? He's in the house. All right, that's it. Link below. How not to become a millennial. Sanity is the future of wealth. Enjoy the decline. How not to become a millennial. I think you guys would all enjoy that one. That's my best book ever. Or my best writing. It's not my best book ever because that's determined by the audience. I just think it was, yeah. You'd buy T-Rash? Of course. Dude, Rolo would probably even promote the hell out of that. You do a good enough job. All right, that's it. See you guys later. Toodles.